It is time for another round of Cascadian USL soccer, coming to you live from Starfire Stadium in Tukwila, Washington. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Delighted to have you here. It is a beautiful evening out in Tukwila. The storm and fire clouds have finally cleared up from up in BC, as our Canadian viewers will no doubt know.
Yeah, thank heavens.
And tonight, Seattle Sounders FC 2 playing host to Vancouver Whitecaps 2. Hi, everyone. I'm Andrew Harvey. He's Aaron Heinzen. Aaron, both these teams right now on the wrong side of the red line, hoping to batter their way into the playoff spots.
Yeah, absolutely, Andrew. This is a must-win for Sounders, too, especially one of their final home games. They have 4 left after this. Vancouver Whitecaps FC 2 also need to get on the winning board. It's been a long road for them since they've had their last win, so should be a great battle tonight. Both these teams need the points, and I'm looking forward to it.
Well, after a frustrating turnabout late in the game against Rio Grande Valley, Brian Schmetzer has brought Tony Alfaro over to Ezra Hendrickson's side to allow him to get some more minutes and hopefully shore up this back line a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Tony Alfaro was a huge presence last year for S2, 20 appearances, ended up getting 2 goals, 1 assist, but his big deal is his presence in the back line and the communication, and that is something that S2 need this year for a team that has conceded 48 goals this season. That's just kind of not been good enough in the back. Tony Alfaro brings his presence, brings his communication, and at 6'2", great height, he's going to be invaluable tonight for S2.
And he will, of course, be joined by Jordy DeLem playing outside back as well. We'll get to the full lineup in a minute. On the other side of things, for Vancouver, a player who will not be starting. He's in the 18, and what's notable is it's the first time since the conclusion of the regular season last year. It's Brett Levi's. He's recovered from that ACL tear.
Yeah, that's right. Brett Levi's tough time last fall came on against Portland Timbers. Final game of the season, last 6 minutes, tears his ACL. Guy stays on the field, though, helps his team win 4-1, but had surgery after that. This is his return, so exciting. He is not starting, but he will be in the midfield somewhere in the second half, we're told. Get a couple minutes for him. So exciting return to the field for this man. He was a great presence for them last year for Whitecaps FC 2 and earned himself a contract with the first team, and nice to have him back on the field.
Absolutely. Aaron, there are these two teams. Sounders, 6 consecutive losses at this point. And for Whitecaps 2, you know, they've 2 draws in their last 5 games, but they haven't won a match since June 4th, and that was a 1-0 win over Timbers 2, another team who's at the bottom of the Western Conference standings. What has to happen when 2 teams are in this poor run of form? What happens in a game like this to swing it one way or the other?
Well, they're kind of both at one end of the spectrum and the other. I'll start with Sounders, too. Like I mentioned, 48 goals conceded. That just hasn't been good enough. We saw last week was a great example, a 3-1 lead against Rio Grande Valley Toros, allowed 3 goals in the second half and lose the game 4-3. As far as Vancouver Whitecaps FC 2 go, they've only scored 23 goals this season. You've got your 2 of your starting forwards up top, 4 goals apiece. I mean, between the 2 of them, that's it. That's not good enough. Your Marco Bustos, their starting attacking midfielder, leads the team with 6 goals. They have 23 goals total and have been shut out 6 times this season. So Vancouver Whitecaps FC 2 just struggled to score. Sounders, too, have just struggled to keep the ball out of their own net. So these guys will be fighting for that position of that tonight. It's going to make things really interesting.
Worth noting, Vancouver Whitecaps have kept the same back line and goalie in place for this game after a recent setback against the Sacramento Republic. What can we expect out of them tonight?
Well, the back line is still fairly young, but the big one I'd like to highlight is the goalkeeper, Spencer Ritchie. Played at the University of Washington in Seattle and has a lot of experience, so should be great to watch him tonight.
Well, we'll have more on him and all the starters, starting lineups, and opening kickoff coming to you soon from Starfire Stadium in Tukwila.
Raise the stakes. Expectations are high. Our biggest season yet will break records with elite players and future stars, innovative technology, and new homes. We're growing the game in our communities and across the nation. Are you ready?
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing. I was very independent, thought I could take care of myself. I fell and I had to have Meals on Wheels.
After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak.
Meals on Wheels, coming to my door as someone who's housebound, having someone check on me, assures me that I'm not forgotten.
Meals on Wheels has given me a mode of freedom that I wouldn't have otherwise.
We're the clients.
We are the clients.
We are the clients of Meals on Wheels.
America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. Got it. No.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early. You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Every year, 40% of all food in the U.S. never gets eaten.
40%. That's almost half the food we produce.
Food waste is a serious problem. It impacts all of us.
And it's expensive. Your family is throwing $1,500 a year in the trash.
We're working hard to put food waste on the chopping block.
And you can do the same at home.
Learn how to cook it, store it, and share it.
Just don't waste it.
Go to SaveTheFood.com.
We are back at Starfire Stadium in Tequila, moments away from kickoff here in the first half. And without further ado, let's take a look at the starting lineups. Up first for the visiting Vancouver Whitecaps FC2.
Take a look at the Whitecaps FC2 here. There's Marco Bustos out on the left, number 32. Keep an eye on him. 6 goals so far, as I mentioned. Another one I'd like to highlight, David Norman in the midfield. Kind of a commander, keeps things moving there for Whitecaps FC2. A lot of good tackles. And finally, Spencer Ritchie in the goal. Talked about him during the pregame. And fantastic saves last weekend, and Sacramento really kept them in till the very last minute.
On the other side of the equation for S2.
There he is, Felix Chenkum up top. 4 goals now for this man, only 9 appearances. Look for him to do some damage. Henry Wingo out on the right, a couple first-teamers as we mentioned. Tony Alfaro there, Jordy DeLem at the right back spot. Sam Rogers, Brian Nonasinkum getting a chance to work the left side this time. Irvin Parra in front of him, and of course Ray Sari and Francisco Narbone behind Zach Mathers, Tyler Miller in goal.
Referees in charge of tonight's festivities. Chippewa Street has the center. Assistant referees Seth Martin and Corbin Ray. Your 4th official is Raymond Mendez. Sounders wearing their traditional green, moving from left to right here on your screen here in the first half. Whitecaps 2 in white going back the other way. Aaron talked about it a little bit. Just the lack of goal production from Vancouver Whitecaps 2 has really hamstrung them throughout this season.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult sometimes when a team just can't produce goals. They've had some great run of play, but in the end, that final product, that's what gets you the win. So tonight, that's obviously been a big focus for Rich Fagan and his side. But, you know, when it doesn't go, it doesn't go. We've seen that happen to multiple teams, but, you know, they'll go back to the drawing board. They'll work at it. But, again, you got to look at that front three of Taryn Campbell, Meyer Bevan, and Thomas Gardner. Thomas hasn't opened his account this season so far. Meyer has 2 goals. Taryn has 2 goals. And that's just got to be a little bit better. And I'm sure head coach Rich Fagan has plenty of times worked on it, but they have a younger side, just like S2, a lot of younger players. Taryn Campbell's 18, Myers 20, and Thomas Gardner's 19 years old. On the bench, though, they do have their 4-goal man and the big guy, 6'4", Thomas Sanner. We'll talk more about him probably at halftime, but Princeton product from last year. Got a real big presence about him. But certainly the highlight here for Vancouver Whitecaps FC2 is Marco Bustos. Every time he gets on the ball, something is possible.
That is Bustos at the right edge of your screen right there. Meyer Bevan is over the ball, awaiting Chippewa Street's whistle. That is the whistle, and we are underway here from Starfire Stadium. 90 minutes of USL action. Both these teams trying to get 3 big points and climb their way up the standings. That's a long ball down the side from Francis DeVries, goes out of play for the first S2 throw-in of the match.
Well, Ezra Hendrickson talked about it midweek. Now that the big summer excitement is over, there's a deeper lineup, and he's using it tonight. And Wingo, Dellum, and Tony Alfaro.
That ball brought down by David Norman. Bustos has an option down the side, picks out Taron Campbell. Campbell closed down by Rogers. Early cross, you're going to find the back post. Still loose inside the area. Players running onto it now. S2, a partial clearance. Now Rogers gets it the rest of the way out.
Well, it's a great quick start there from Whitecaps FC too. It's just that ball from Bustos down the left side. It's a good one. Picks Campbell out, and it's an excellent cross. S2 don't deal with it cleanly.
Felix Chankin whistled for a foul there against David Norman, just shy of midfield.
Yeah, number 42, David Norman. Good soccer pedigree in his family. His dad played in the '86 World Cup in Mexico. But played a year at Oregon State. Now he's back with Vancouver, from Vancouver area, but he really gets in a lot of midfield clashes.
Long ball over the top, collected by Miller. Been with the club since age 9, has David Norman. Easy when your father's that big of a fixture in the community. People tend to want to take a look at you. But he's certainly earned his spot in the squad.
Yeah, he's an intelligent player. Just sits in there by himself in front of the back line and allows Bustos and Michael Baldissimo to push forward. So he's the main connector in the midfield between the back line and everybody else.
DeVries to the near side for Declan Wynn. Wynn back for DeVries. Switch over to Cole Seiler. And up the side to Matt Baldissimo. This marks the first occasion that both Baldissimo brothers have been on the pitch for the same time for Whitecaps 2, Michael and Matthew. And it is Michael's first pro start. That is Baldissimo there, who gets the ball past Parra to Declan Wynn on the near side. Wynn ahead for Bustos. Bustos had a large touch. Campbell thought he was offside, so he let that ball roll. And it's out for a goal kick.
Yeah, exciting for the Baldissimos. Michael, 17 years old. Brother Matthew, 19. Matthew's been in. He was in last year as well, but Mike saw little bits and pieces of Michael, but only cameos really. Nice to see another young player working into the starting 11. Vancouver, of course, a real similar approach to S2, always getting the younger players lots of time. Good experience.
Seiler up the side, and the ball is lost out the far sideline for an S2 throw. The sun, which has been intermittent at best throughout the day today, now chooses to rear its head right into the eyes of Tyler Miller in the S2 back line. You can see Miller shielding his face right there. Rogers, a touch past Bustos. Now it's Ray Sari.
Well, it's interesting to note here, Andrew, that Ray Sari is actually wearing the captain's armband tonight. Tyler Miller has had it the past few weeks, but maybe that's something Ezra Hendrickson wants, a field player, a guy who's in the action. It's tough sometimes when you have a goalkeeper as a captain. He's way back there. He's not in the action. Maybe vocally he can't get involved as much as somebody in Ray Sari's position, so could be a little bit of a change up there.
Back heel from Parra to link up with Jordy Delem. Delem still ahead of Parra, and Parra going to press forward into the right alley. 2 defenders closing down. That's Wynn who gets enough of the ball, but it's out for an S2 throw. Parra thrown into Mathers. Mathers makes a move past Campbell, tried to play a through ball. Didn't have anyone making a run. Certainly, though, Ray Sari, 2 goals, 4 assists, but beyond the obvious stats, has done plenty of good for S2 this season. Kind of came out there, looked a little undersized to begin with, but proved to be pretty ferocious out there.
Yeah, he's a great reader of the game. Breaks plays up all the time, as we've said so many times in the past. Good feet on the ball. Sorry, Andrew. Certainly nothing against Tyler Miller. I just think maybe something Ezra Hendrickson wanted to change things up, since they did seem to be a little rudderless in the last, especially in that last half against Rio Grande Valley.
Baldissimo gets that ball past Ray Sari, lofts one over the middle, looking to link up with Meyer Bevan. Sam Rogers concedes the throw-in. Wynn waiting to throw this in. for Baldissimo. Mike Baldissimo trying to spin away from pressure. Has Dilem on his back, retreats to David Norman. Seiler now. Far side for Thomas Gardner. Awkward touch from Seiler, leaves that ball in space. S2 has it. Felix Chaykin is brought down behind the run of play. Chippewa Street now is stopping play, waiting for a trainer to come on, but doesn't look like he whistled for a foul at any point. Chankham's down holding his face, Aaron.
Well, I think there's just a little bit of extra contact there from Marco Bustos. Vancouver Whitecaps FC 2 lose possession, and Chankham was about to take off and then just takes a little bit of a shoulder dip. Seems to be okay, though. Take another look at it right here. There's Chankham. Wins the ball. Ray Sorry plays. You can just see Bustos steps right in front of him. Catches him a little bit.
Since play was stopped, Chankham has to come off the field for a moment. He'll quickly be allowed back on. On the drop ball, Sounders 2 just kick it all the way back to Spencer Ritchie. Aaron, when a team is mentally trying to recover from doing so much good work to build a 3-1 lead and then having it all come apart in the second half, what needs to happen over the first 15 to 20 minutes of a match to kind of shake off those bad memories?
Well, again, just get back to the basics. I think that's what the coaches will say every time, but you have to follow all the way through. Right now, S2 have not really struggled with any of their starts, it seems, this year. Always getting out of the gates right away. It's can they sustain it?
Pass picked away by Campbell. It's ahead now for Bevan. Bevan into the left alley. Options in the middle. Slow roller. Dealt outside and away by Tony Alfaro.
Yeah, that's really a poor pass from Sam Rogers. It's been so consistent this year. Just uncharacteristic from him.
That ball over the head of Norman. Felix Chankham has it. He's going to try to run into space. Outside for Irvin Parra. Parra back inside for Chankham. Chankham, a touch to control. Shuffles it along for Henry Wingo. Wingo. Further away from goal. Back into the middle for Francisco Narbonne. Narbonne over the middle looking for Mathers, and that ball too long. A promising looking opportunity comes to naught.
Yeah, David Norman just taking off the ball. Allows S2 to counterattack. Just couldn't quite get the final pass right to get a good opportunity.
Rise. Back for Ritchie. Ritchie, a familiar face to some in the Seattle region. University of Washington man. Had 31 shutouts in 70 appearances for the Huskies. Seiler over the top. Ball controlled by Mike Baldissimo. Inside for Bevan. Baldissimo back to Seiler. DeVries for Wynn. Wynn past Irvin Parra. Past Ray Sari. The big touch gets it past Francisco Narbonne. Now he drops it back for Matt Baldissimo on the far side. That's Matt and Mike both getting involved there and winning a free kick in the process.
That's a good foul to get there for Whitecaps FC 2. Take a look at Thomas Gardner. David Norman, 6'2", is the one that's going to take this free kick. A little bit of surprising since he does have that height advantage, but he can play these in. Did something similar for Oregon State last fall. Certainly has the ability.
Norman set to strike this with the left. Ball toward the near post, headed down away by Mathers. Wingo tried to spring Chankham up the left side. It's turned over. Norman back for Seiler. And Francisco Narbonne puts things out of play.
Of course, as I say that, Norman doesn't beat the first man, but good attempt.
Baldissimo switches to the left side looking for Campbell. Poked away. Irvin Parra. Roulette's out of one challenge. Turned it back over to Bustos. Now David Norman. Straight into the feet of Francisco Narbonne. Both teams struggling to hold on to the ball right now, Aaron.
Yeah, Norman's turned it over a couple times now there in the midfield. Missed the last game in Sacramento due to suspension. So he got a rest last week. Maybe clean up the passing a little bit. Still early days here, just 11 minutes in.
Jordy DeLem and Francisco Narbonne working the ball on the near side. They try to go over the top for Chankum. DeVries forced to head it back to Ritchie.
Pretty good idea there from DeLem. There's a big space, and Felix Chankum with his speed just doesn't make the run. Not a bad idea at all, though.
A free kick goes for Vancouver on the far side. One of the real challenges, one that both Vancouver Whitecaps fans and Sounders fans and Timbers 2 fans can as well, is their players under first-team contract very seldom train with the USL affiliate unless they know they're going to play, and even then that's usually only a day or two before the match. So sometimes players just send balls that other ones don't know to make runs for.
Yeah, it's certainly adjustment. Some of these guys, the USL players, come up and play with and train with the first team, but anytime you're in with a different group of players, you don't know everybody's likes and dislikes and how they play. It's a little bit of a test, but a ball like that from Jordy DeLem can't hurt over the top to a speedster like Chankum, and if he does see it, you've created a nice opportunity.
We're in the 13th minute, 0-0 here at Starfire Stadium. Sounders 2 have a free kick on the far side. Alfaro just restarts short, goes to Miller. Miller up toward Henry Wingo. Mathers. Back to Brian Nanasinkum. Up for Wingo, turned over. Mike Baldissimo ahead for Bustos. Meyer Bevan, he goes down. Antonio Alfaro guilty of the foul that time.
Yeah, let's take a look here. Bevan just brings it down. Alfaro gets the tackle in, but goes through Bevan to get it. Pretty easy call there for Chippewa Street.
Norman goes back to Seiler. 20 years of age is Bevan, the New Zealand native. Came to the Vancouver Whitecaps system from the Nike Academy, which trains at St. George's Park in England. Kind of an interesting thought experiment, the Nike Academy. One part brand promotion, one part soccer development. Always interesting, though.
Yeah. Big way to promote the sport and promote Nike in the sports. Huge business.
Chankum now with a little bit of room. Had DeLem to his right side. Well-timed tackle from DeVries.
Yeah, DeVries had to get that right and does.
Rogers going the other way. DeLem. Big Sam Rogers going to rumble up the field now. DeLem. Wingo moving to space on the far side. Comes inside looking for the ball. He's going to get it. Shakes off one challenge. Henry Wingo's foot speed does good things for him there. Gets to the right side for Irvin Parra. And Parra is crossing the ground. Can't get past his first man.
A little bit better from S2. A little more possession. Jordy DeLem getting around. Trying to get involved in the attack. More from Henry Wingo as well. Those are the guys that they're going to look to tonight to make a difference.
Ray Sorry with all kinds of time. Goes for Mathers. Parra, he'll have DeLem on the overlap. Inside for Zach Mathers. Back for Parra. Onto his left. Spins one to the back post. And the flag is up for offside on Brian Nanasinkum as he tried to get to that ball.
It's a great look for Parra. There he is, left foot over the top. Nanasinkum trying to sneak in the back there. Thomas Gardner's tracking him, but Nanasinkum offsides. Nice run from him, though. That's something he doesn't get to do a lot of because he's center back most of the time. But he's proven in the past that he can sure get up that left-hand side. I think this is the first time tonight, correct me if I'm wrong, Andrew, that we don't have an academy player currently rostered out on the field, maybe other than Sam Rogers, who was an academy player for a while.
I'm not 100% certain, but I think you're right, Aaron. That's been one of the things we talked about is S2 has routinely fielded one of the youngest starting lineups in the league. This ball comes through up the middle for Henry Wingo. Cole Seiler does enough to muscle him out. Meyer Bevan backing up Tony Alfaro there.
Well, certainly it's got to be one of the first times where S2 are slightly older than their opposition this time. Typically never the case.
First game of the season was at home against the Sacramento Republic. Average age of an S2 starting player was 20.5 years of age. Sacramento was 26. Irvin Parra dishes out wide to Henry Wingo. Wingo going to take on Matt Baldissimo. Wingo back to his right foot for a cross. Diving header clearance from Cole Seiler. Bustos does enough to win a foul. Francisco Narbonne left his foot up high. Quickly restarted. That's Mike Baldissimo to his brother Matt. Seiler looking to switch the field, has Taryn Campbell. Gets too far underneath the ball, just can't drive it.
Yep, too much height on that one. It's a good look from Seiler. Just doesn't get the pass right.
Team is settled into a game of volleyball here, revolving around the halfway line. DeVries. S2 content to let Vancouver move the ball around in their own end here, Aaron.
Yeah, nothing wrong with possession as long as it's not dangerous.
That ball did come out the near touchline. Jordan Glenn will take a throw.
Excuse me, Andrew. S2 just happy to sit back and let Vancouver pass it around in their own end. Gives them a little bit of a rest as well.
Wingo, defended by Mike Baldissimo. Delem. Switch for Alfaro. Ahead for Sari. Out wide for Brian Nanasinkum. Nanasinkum on the ground in the middle for Chankum, who tried to top it back to Henry Wingo. Right idea. Wingo didn't have the read.
Yeah, just not quite enough on his pass there from Felix Chankum. Henry Wingo just happy to move from right side to left side.
It certainly seems that Wingo's been given a lot of creative license for what really left midfield's going to mean for the Sounders tonight. And they do play that way on the first team in the attacking band. The players that have the foot speed have a lot of liberty to move around, and so far Henry Wingo causing problems.
Yeah, Sounders fans probably just seen him play on the outside. He played in the middle actually at University of Washington. Along one of those attacking mids with head coach Jamie Clark. So he's certainly comfortable in there.
Parra tripped up by Declan Wynn there. Promising looking opportunity for a free kick for Sounders too here in the 19th minute.
Yeah, if there's one thing to be said about S2 so far this half, they have not threatened Vancouver's goal once yet. Need to start thinking about taking a couple shots, getting something on frame. Big opportunity here for both these guys, Parra and Mathers.
Parra directly over the ball. Mathers a couple steps behind.
Seen Mathers hit a few this year.
Four-man wall for Vancouver Whitecaps too. It's Mathers. He goes for goal and a diving stop to his left from Spencer Ritchie.
Nice athletic save from Spencer Ritchie. Saw it all the way. I don't think it ever really troubled him. Did have to stretch out for it though. You would expect a keeper of his caliber to get that, and he does.
Now a near side corner from Mathers. It's a low ball. That came off a player's shins. Should be out for another S2 corner, and it is.
See if Mathers can make this second one a bit better.
Short run up for Mathers. Just one step. This one going to find the middle of the goal. That one was headed by DeVries. Attempted volley from Delem. Again, DeVries on the ball. Still not out of the area, though. Sam Rogers gets a touch to it. It's spun on by Irvin Parra, and Parra has scored in the 21st minute.
Irvin Parra just looking to get the ball, do his celebration. Waving to the crowd.
Well, touch of new life for S2.
Well, you just see here, Vancouver doesn't do very well of clearing this out. And that is the price you paid. Easily spun. Parra just puts this one away. S2 have a nice lead. There he is again. Sees it coming all the way down. Parra's actually going to pick up a yellow card for his goal celebration, unfortunately. But nice finish from him. Goal number 6 of the season.
May have been for a bit of a dust-up with Spencer Ritchie in the net as well, but in either case, Parra shown a yellow. Quickly restarted, ball headed to Miller by Jordy Delem. Sounders faithful, loving that goal from Irvin Parra. We'll wait to get word to see if Sam Rogers gets officially credited for an assist. You have to imagine he will. There's Narbonne. He's brought down behind the play. Henry Wingo. Nanasinka making a run to his left. Wingo. Mathers try to chop one up to Delem. Meyer Bevan. Bevan brought down on a lunging challenge from Jordy Delem. That'll be a free kick on the near side. And Delem gonna get a talking to here.
Yeah, just clatters into Mr. Bevan right there. Easy call.
Didn't seem to be anything particularly malicious, just perhaps over-anxious from Jordy Delem.
Yeah, easy call from Chippewa Street. Certainly nothing else to be done about it.
Delem been on a run of decent form himself. Hasn't seen too many minutes, but had a really strong performance with Martinique in the Gold Cup. Came back and has been doing good things for the Sounders when called upon since.
He's playing in that right back position. Of course, for S2 last year, he played either center back or in the defensive midfield. And plays that same position for Martinique, and it's always a little bit of a change for a player to come out wide. Sometimes there's a little more running. There's certainly different roles that are asked for, and he's made that adjustment fairly well.
Barring everything except for that last attempted pass just now. Thrown into Bevan. Campbell can't get it past Delem. It's straight to Mike Baldissimo. Inside for Norman, who's looking to switch the play over to Gardner. Gardner going to press forward here. Bustos back to Matt Baldissimo. Norman wants to go over the middle. Brian Nanasinka and Tony Alfaro collide going for it, and Ray Sari does the rest. And now Felix Jankum will win a free kick this time after being pulled down in his own half. Alfaro, long ball over the left side. Hard hit header from Cole Seiler. Did the right thing by not putting it on frame, but Spencer Ritchie almost didn't get to that. Wingo. Bustos is all over him. Wingo back for Sari. Sari's pass is intercepted. Bevan, now Bustos. Ahead for Gardner. Gardner, a touch inside and too much from the touch. Turning back over to Zach Mathers.
Yeah, disappointing touchdown from Gardner. He had 3 guys looking to get that ball back. There's one of those crunching tackles from David Norman I was talking about. Gets all the ball, no problem. Whitecaps FC2 just struggling to keep possession once they cross into S2's half. Sounders 2 doing a nice job closing them down.
DeVries inside. Now it's Mike Baldissimo Defended closely by Ray Sari, outside for Taron Campbell. Much like Henry Lingo, Campbell's kind of drifted all over the pitch for Vancouver Whitecaps too here in these first 25 minutes. That long ball over the top, not going to find anything but the head of Sam Rogers. Matt Baldissimo, inside for Bustos. Bustos turns, spins, past a diving Francisco Narbonne. To the left side now. Finds Declan Wynn, who's inside the area, chops the ball back to his right foot. Bustos trying to run onto it. And it's Irvin Parra who fights his way free.
Well, you just, great example there of Bustos. Lovely turn, plays that ball in, and Wynn's touch. It's just a little bit off.
Wingo, past two defenders now. Space for a cross, punched out by Spencer Ritchie. Zach Mathers going to give chase. There's a player down for S2 behind midfield. They're trying to get Zach Mathers' attention about it. Sorry, turns, dishes to the far side. Not a single to let that ball run out of play. That's Jordy DeLem. He is down. Does not appear to be moving, Aaron. He just moved his left arm there.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what happened. It's something away from the play. See if we can get a look at it. Parra was the one that played the ball out. But I didn't see what happened to Jordy DeLem. And we'll have to just see if he can recover from this. Hopefully he can, of course, for both S2 and the Sounders. Going back to that moment before, Bustos, great turn from him, plays in Declan Wynn, and you could just see Declan Wynn's first touch just kind of goes in between his feet and gets tangled up. He had an opportunity. It was an excellent, excellent ball from Bustos. Those kinds of opportunities can't be wasted too often, especially for a team with only 23 goals.
Those tight quarters there inside the 18, but Declan Wynn just kind of took a little bit too long to pull the trigger. Jordy DeLem up on his feet now. Looks like he's going to walk off under his own power. That's always a good sight to see.
Absolutely. Well, if he does, in the end, need to go off, Henry Wingo obviously can play that right back position, and there's plenty of midfielders on the bench for S2. Nobody actually listed as a defender. But with Wingo on the field, that won't be a problem.
From the way DeLem's walking toward the halfway line, it looks like he plans to continue. We'll see more on that in a second. Vancouver will restart with a throw, and they look like they're just going to throw it to Nana Sinkum across midfield, or they might toss it into Matt Baldissimo. It'll be Bustos, and he'll take a long touch to send it to Tyler Miller in his display of sportsmanship. Crowd applauds the move from Vancouver Whitecaps too. Miller. Lobs one out left for Tony Alfaro. Head on the ground for Wingo. Jordy DeLem has rejoined the play. Whitecaps 2 trying to conjure up a little bit more pressure up the field. This is Narbonne being closed down by Bevan. Shankum. DeLem. Rogers. Alfaro. Wingo spins out of two defenders there, goes down on the ball in the process. Still kept it in play, and that's Nana Sinkum down the far side. Nana Sinkum in the left alley. Tried to poke it into the middle for either Zach Mathers or Shankum. Neither one got to it.
That was a great run from Nana Sinkum. Maybe just plays it a little too early.
Ball left in play. They're going to try to chip Tyler Miller. Miller stumbled as that ball was coming in, and a collective gasp from the crowd. He was able to recover.
Well, that's something that a player like Bustos can obviously do, and you could see Miller did not expect that at all. He turns. There was probably a bit of panic in him for a moment. But he just picks his head up, tries to chip the keeper from 45 yards. Why not? It's possible. Certainly possible from there.
Bustos gives it a go right as we pass the half-hour mark here at Starfire Stadium. Sounders 2 on top, 1-0. A goal in the 21st minute from Irvin Parra. Long switch, Cannot find Jordy DeLem over the head of Declan Wynn. Wynn leaves an arm up in the air. Looked like he was almost going to grab that ball for a second. Henry Wingo with a little bit of space now. Wingo going to shoot from long range. Finds the backside of Felix Chankum. Wingo back into the area. Carried himself out of a shooting angle. Distributes to Urban Para. Para immediately sends it across, and Mike Baldissimo deals away the rebound.
Great shot from Henry Wingo. That was on target. Hit the back of Felix Chankum. Good effort.
Long ball over the top. Flag stays down for Meyer Bevan, but it's too long for him.
Good run from Bevan. That's the second or third time he's tried to get behind the S2 back line. Haven't seen too much of that today from anybody else, apart from Campbell at the very first bit of the game.
Bevan got a great jump on the S2 back line there.
Yeah, if the ball had been just a little bit shorter, he would have been in.
Nanasinkum wins that header. Matt Baldissimo controls. Thomas Gardner, tightly defended. Back to Cole Seiler.
Great touch from Seiler to get out of pressure there. Clever.
Some people like the joke that your center backs don't need to be able to dribble, but it's always a nice benefit when they can. And Urban Para draws a foul there.
Well, certainly, yeah. The old joke on the center backs, you know, it might not be the best in front of the goal, but in the game nowadays, everybody has to be able to play with their feet, including the goalkeepers.
Para caught a kick on the inside of his leg there. Mathers will take the free kick. He's going to hold up while Big Sam Rogers gets in there.
Another big opportunity here. Again, we've seen a lot of these from this angle from S2. Right to left. We know Mathers likes to go to the far post on Nanasinkum. Looks like Thomas Gardner might have some blood on his shirt, so he has to go off. So now Bustos. Thomas Gardner was just marking Brian Nanasinkum. Now Bustos has to come back. Looks like Matthew Baldissimo is marking Nanasinkum now. Certainly a little bit of a height in this match.
False run from Mathers. Ball toward the back post. Spencer Ritchie grabs that one right out of the air. Anytime you see a crowd converge on a ball like that, goalkeepers sometimes tend to get a little bit anxious, but he kept his eye on the ball. Mathers wins that ball back from David Norman. Into the area, to his left foot, he shoots. Saved by Spencer Ritchie. That ball out the end line for another S2 corner.
Now it hasn't been the best half for David Norman. Gets dispossessed again here by Zach Mathers. Was very, very well turns, goes right at the back line. And you think for Zach Mathers, 8 goals on the season, this is going in, but Spencer Ritchie, it's the perfect height for the goalkeeper. He blocks it away. It's a great save from him.
Mathers will send in the corner kick from the far side. Sam Rogers, Jordy DeLem, Urban Para all in the mix. It's a low ball. Finds its way through to the back post, despite hitting the ground before it reached any of the bodies inside the penalty area. As a defender, those are always the ones that are the scariest.
Yeah, anytime you let a bouncing ball on the ground go through everybody, it's a big chance it's going to end up in an attacker's foot. Whitecaps FC 2, fortunate there. Again, it's a sloppy ball from the back line. S2 taking advantage.
Again with his speed, fights his way inside, tried to tee up Felix Chankum. And that was, for a second, looking like it was going to be deja vu to Chankum's goal against Rio Grande Valley. Tapped it in with the outside of his right foot on a low cross.
Another good ball from Henry Wingo. And as you said, Andrew, second or third time he's gotten around on that left-hand side.
It's a pretty simple move that he pulls off. It's just a really big touch into space, and then he uses the fact that he's faster
Why
than
not?
you.
Yeah, got acceleration like that. That's your job out there. That's a great run from him.
Nanasinkum to take this throw in. In for Wingo. Right back to Nanasinkum. And another challenge to tee up the throw in once more. Thrown into Chankum. Chankum trying to turn in pressure. And that ball comes off his hands. It'll be a free kick for Vancouver. Just under 10 minutes to go until the break. Sounders on top 1-0. Aaron, in a way, S2 kind of looked like they were the team trying to fight their way into the game the first 15, 20 minutes, but now, since they've had the goal, momentum's been all theirs.
Yeah, quick start from Whitecaps FC too, but just thinking after that first little flutter, I haven't seen anything really from them since. That one ball from Bustos and the chance for Declan Wynn, that was a big one, but other than that, there isn't one highlight I can pick out of my head.
More disjointed service from Spencer Ritchie.
Whitecaps FC2 can certainly pass, hold possession, but for that final ball, just having a few issues.
Mathers into space. Irvin Parra gives chase. Will be closed down by Declan Wynn. Parra holds it in play on the near side. Drops back for DeLem. Immediately inside for Ray Sari. Sari. Chankum. Parra. Parra on the ground for Henry Wingo. Wingo gets his leg taken out from underneath him. It looked like Mike Baldissimo might have gotten the ball there, and that's the case. He's bleeding to Chippewa Street.
Yeah, I think this is I think Chippewa Street might have just got this wrong. That's a great tackle from Michael Baldissimo. Yeah, he catches just a little bit of Henry Wingo, but he gets all ball there.
So once more, another dangerous free kick. Last time the Sounders had one here, it led to a pair of corners that led to that first goal. It's Parra and Mathers over the ball once again. Meyer Bevan trudges in to join the wall. Now you see Henry Wingo joining the conference over here. Little schoolyard football drawn up plays in the dirt.
Well, the first one, Mathers hit with his right foot. Does Parra hit it this time?
Mathers again. He goes for goal and misses, but not by much. It looked like he snuck that one right through the middle of the wall.
A little case of the mind games here. Mathers goes right back to the same spot. Almost has it. I think Spencer Ritchie would have got a hand to it if it was going in goal, but great effort from Mathers.
Ritchie under pressure here. Mathers coming in, he slides in, gets to the ball. Mathers pokes it in and scores! And Zach Mathers on another turnover. An unthinkable concession for Whitecaps 2, and S2 leads 2-0.
Well, Spencer Ritchie's had a great game up until now, and this is just a case of just a little too nonchalant. Maybe just switches off mentally, and Zach Mathers does not stop. We saw him track down David Norman earlier, and this time, ball's played back to Spencer Ritchie. First touch isn't the best. He just takes too long to clear it. Mathers gets in on the tackle, and it's an easy poke in. 2-0 for S2.
Looks like we may have had another yellow card issued. Might have had something to do with Zach Mathers slapping the corner flag there. We don't know for certain that the card was on him, but another yellow card was issued. We're being told now that Chippewa Street pulled out the yellow card and then didn't award one to anyone, so still just Irvin Parra in the book for his goal celebration. Sounders 2 on top, 2-0, and that high pressure was doing good things for them, and now it's done the best thing for them, Aaron.
Well, it's a tough goal for Vancouver Whitecaps FC2 to give up. Just so close to halftime, and they're under no pressure. There's no reason you should give something like that up. Ball's just played back to Spencer Ritchie. Just takes a little too long. Mathers does a great job. Gets his tackle in. It reminds me of the couple of years ago, the opening game in the MLS Cup final. Portland in that game in Columbus. The goalkeeper does the same thing. Ball's taken off the keeper, slotted in. There you have the lead.
Cole Seiler's shorts have completely torn. You can see the compression shorts underneath there. And he's conversing with the referee, asking if he has to change right now. Someone on the bench now looks like they're going to be pulling theirs off and make them available. So we'll have a short substitution here at Starfire Stadium in the 40th minute.
Fortunately for Cole Seiler, he's got the sliders on, so no big deal. Just like wearing a bathing suit underneath.
Always important to wear the sliders when you're on turf, Aaron.
Absolutely. Even with the new turf now, it still stings a little bit.
Seiler ahead for Gardner. Ray Sari. Parra. Narbonne looking to spring DeLem down the right side. That ball is bound for the near sideline, and Vancouver Whitecaps 2 throw-in.
Coach Rich Fagan, Whitecaps FC 2. Just see if they can start to put a little more pressure on Sounders to play themselves back in this game. They just don't seem to offer a lot up front, in behind the S2 back line. Tough to keep possession for them.
Bustos trying to apply a little pressure of his own to Tyler Miller. Miller only as far as Thomas Gardner on his punt. Brian Nanasinka pokes the ball away.
This is certainly the correct action to have right here. S2 do well to get out of it. Henry Wingo gets a foul.
Didn't restart the ball from where play was stopped, so they'll slow it down and wind it up. Vancouver Whitecaps 2, kind of in a catch-22 right here. They need to have pressure higher up the field in order to force more turnovers, but every time they do, they're at risk of getting caught on the break.
Well, they don't have to completely go for it yet. Still early, but just have to add a little more pressure on the back line of Sounders 2. Make things a little more uncomfortable for them. Since the first 10 minutes, excuse me, since the first 10 minutes, they've, like we talked about, they haven't troubled S2 much at all.
Win thrown into DeLem, who gets tabletop there by Meyer Bevan. Bevan has words for DeLem. Not really too much in that from Bevan, but he's still got in the way, and every time you flip a player like that, you can usually expect a whistle these days.
Yeah, I'm certain Bevan's probably just saying, what can I really do there? He jumps up, and I'm standing right next to him, but play on.
Sorry, up for Henry Wingo here. Nanasinkum. It's turned over to Cole Seiler. Once again, the long ball over the top. Tony Alfaro. Nice first touch from him to throw off Bevan. Narbonne with some space finds DeLem. Rogers thinking about a switch. He's looking for Nanasinkum. Gardner first one to it. He heads the ball out the far side.
That's a good look from Rogers. Henry Wingo is just tucking inside, allowing Brian Nanasinkum that entire left wing for him to get forward and attack.
Thrown into Wingo. He retreats up the line to Nanasinkum. Arbone back to Alfaro. DeLem drifting into open space on the right side. Now it's Zach Mathers. Mathers for long range. That one missed by more than his free kicks have, but Zach Mathers is thinking about goal number 9. You can see it every time he gets up. Excuse me, goal number 10, now that he's poked in that last one.
Yeah, why not? When you're on the streak he's on. It's absolutely one of the players Ezra Hendrickson wants to see taking a shot from there.
Every time you manage to pull off a slide tackle on the opposing keeper and score as a result, probably does good things for your confidence, I'd be willing to wager.
It's just such a difficult goal to give up for Whitecaps FC 2. Weren't creating a lot of chances, but they're absolutely in the game. Now they've got a real hole to dig out of.
Wingo goes down there. David Norman. That's going to be enough to win a free kick for Vancouver Whitecaps too. Wasn't quite clear who it was that got Norman there. Looks like it might have been Zach Mathers, who's down now behind the play.
Norman does well. He wins the ball, just plays it in, caught by Francisco Narbonne.
Two of them go knee to knee, and that is Narbonne. You can see him limping there at the edge of your frame. He's now down. Honestly,
certainly painful, actually. Both knees collide like that. Sometimes you're not always ready for it either.
You really feel every bit of those. We take into the first of 2 added minutes here in the first half. And in a way, it looks like Narbonne might have almost taken the worst of that contact between the two players. He's down, being tended to by the trainers now. And this will certainly have an effect on exactly how much stoppage time we actually play. But in the meantime, maybe this set-piece opportunity holds the key to unlocking the first goal for Vancouver Whitecaps too, Aaron.
Yeah, something just before halftime. Another look at this. Just watch that right knee of Narbonne. Catches it just above of the knee. Can be really painful. A little bit of a Charlie horse. He's up and moving.
So S2 will be without Narbonne for this critical set piece. Steps off the far sideline. It is David Norman over the ball.
Yeah, as I was saying, something here for Whitecaps FC 2 before halftime would be huge. Pull themselves right back into this game.
Norman's service on an earlier free kick. Let himself down. Can he do better here? Two-man wall for S2 of Ray Sari and Schenkum. Now Sari leaves. To go mark Matt Baldissimo on the near side. Norman toward the middle of the goal, and that one straight to the hands of Tyler Miller. Francis DeVries was in the area, couldn't get to him.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea from Norman. Just not enough pace on the ball and just a little too high, too close to Tyler Miller. He can handle that all day.
Mathers knocks that ball into David Norman. Mike Baldissimo controls. Far side for Gardner. Gardner closed down by Wingo. Bustos. Mike Baldissimo. Back to Cole Seiler. We're at the end of the 2 scheduled minutes, but due to the injury, we'll play a little bit longer. They wave Francisco Narbonne on just now. DeVries. Seiler. Mike Baldissimo. Now the assistant referee holding up a sign, signaling 3. That's 3 additional minutes, or total of 3 minutes. We'll find out when Chippewa Street blows his whistle. DeLem deals that ball away. Schenkum settles underneath it. DeVries wins the header. Seiler. DeVries. Sam Rogers heads that ball back toward Tyler Miller. Miller comes out of his area, knocks that ball high and away. Mathers.
It's good work rate from Bevan. He's been running all over the place here his last few minutes.
So in the end, we play a total of 3 minutes of stoppage time. Chippewa Street blows the whistle for halftime, and it was a strong half from S2, but really the scoreline at the break characterized more by the mistake from Vancouver Whitecaps 2.
Yeah, first effort's great from Para, and Whitecaps FC2 just can't clear the ball. The second one, very, very unlucky, and Spencer Ritchie can only raise his hand and say, look, it's my fault, and I'll do better in the second half. He's had a fantastic first half, but great lead for S2. They'll go in, they'll talk about it, and of course, I'm sure they'll be talking about protecting the lead for the second half. It's going to be a good one.
At the break, Seattle Sounders FC 2-2, Vancouver Whitecaps FC 2-0. Coming up, halftime stats, analysis, and highlights.
I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Every year, 40% of all food in the U.S. never gets eaten.
40%. That's almost half the food we produce.
Food waste is a serious problem. It impacts all of us.
And it's expensive. Your family is throwing $1,500 a year in the trash.
We're working hard to put food waste on the chopping block.
And you can do the same at home.
Learn how to cook it, store it, and share it.
Just don't waste it.
Go to savethefood.com.
The USL has expanded its soccer reach this week, announcing 2 new expansion franchises. Birmingham, Alabama has been announced as the first expansion franchise to join the league in 2019.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure on behalf of the USL to welcome Birmingham into the USL for the 2019 season.
Currently known as USL Birmingham, the franchise will announce their official name, crest, and venue at a later date. The team is set to build on the strong foundation of support built by local fans.
Magic City Brigade, you guys have been amazing for us. We can't say thank you enough for your unwavering support. Without fans, we're not standing here. And so thank you guys. I really do appreciate that.
More information and advanced ticket sales can be found at uslbirmingham.com. Las Vegas will be the third and final club to join the league for the 2018 season.
This is our team collectively that we are going to make into the best professional soccer team that we can. And I can't be more proud to be part of all of you and to bring professional soccer to Las Vegas.
The club will call Cashman Field in downtown Las Vegas home, and the name is up to the fans. Visit VegasProSoccer.com through Monday, August 28th to cast your vote. Las Vegas will join the league in 2018, and Birmingham, Alabama will begin play in the 2019 season. For USL Network, I'm Morgan Conklin.
Here's your check.
Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. Got it. No?
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early. You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing.
I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell and I had to have Meals on Wheels.
After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak.
Meals on Wheels, coming to my door as someone who's housebound, having someone check on me, assures me that I'm not forgotten.
Meals on Wheels has given me a mode of freedom that I wouldn't have otherwise.
We're the clients.
We are the clients.
We are the clients of Meals on Wheels.
America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
It is halftime at Starfire Stadium in Tequila, Washington, where Sounders FC2 has built a 2-0 lead over visiting Vancouver Whitecaps FC2. Hi, everyone. Welcome back with us. Andrew Harvey alongside Aaron Heinzen here. And Aaron, an eventful first half. It always is when the Cascadia Cubs play each other on these derbies, but particularly eventful in this first half.
Yeah, Sounders, too, finally getting on the scoreboard. 2 great goals. They've got a nice lead. Vancouver Whitecaps FC2 just struggling a little bit for opportunities, but, you know, we'll take a look here in a minute and just see what we can see, but it's a great start for Sounders FC2.
Yeah, strong start characterized by some Vancouver mistakes. Let's take a look at our highlights from the first 45 minutes of this one.
Yeah, we'll start things out here. Sounders 2 goal. They light things up. Zach Mathers, of course, playing this one in. Vancouver Whitecaps FC2 just cannot clear. Jordy Delem gets a piece of this, bounces up by DeVries. Ball straight to Parra. He finishes it. Just a nice little pivot and turn. It's a great goal from Irvin Parra. Picks up the yellow card for wrestling for that ball. This is what Marco Bustos does for Whitecaps FC2. Just wins that ball, plays it through the midfield. And here's Declan Wynn. Just can't get that ball out from underneath his feet. Bustos maybe a chance, a half chance, but Parra in the end wins it away. And this is the real big one. Spencer Ritchie, couple huge saves here in the first half. Just takes his time too long on his feet. Great tackle there from Mathers, huge tackle, and plays that one in. And that's got to be a case where his center backs or whoever, somebody's got to be yelling at him. But huge goal there for Zach Mathers. That is his 9th of the season.
Well, so the mistake there from Whitecaps 2, but still S2 have done enough to capitalize on the momentum here in the first half to put themselves ahead. Yeah,
they've absolutely. We saw those 2 finishes, and it was a great work from Zach Mathers. I think for me in this game so far, Sounders 2 just doing what they need to do. They've scored a couple of goals. Obviously, Ezra Hendrickson will probably be talking about at halftime, hey, we need to close this lead out. This is a big part of for us tonight to get a clean sheet. Don't give up any goals. Don't let Vancouver Whitecaps FC2 play themselves back into this game. We know that can cause us problems, so they're going to need to start really strong right away. For Vancouver Whitecaps FC2, they need to just gamble a little bit more. They really, other than the first few minutes, we saw Campbell get inside. We saw that Bustos moment a second ago, but that's about it. They haven't really offered anything. So for the frontline players, more pressure. We saw that at the very end of the first half, applying the pressure on the center backs, and just go for it. You've got to be able to try and play guys through, take people one-on-one. It just hasn't happened for them in the first half. And Sounders, too, they haven't played incredible, but they really don't need to do anything. The back line, I don't think Tyler Miller's touched the ball other than maybe a handful of times.
Talking about players who aren't afraid to take players one-on-one, he came off the bench in the last game. He's starting tonight. Henry Wingo has been out there. He's caused a lot of problems for Vancouver Whitecaps, too.
Yeah, well, we've seen he goes inside, he goes outside, he's got the pace. Baldissimo's on that right-hand side. Matthew Baldissimo's got his hands full with him. Henry Wingo, that's what he does for the first team as well. So it's excellent to see him. He's doing probably what he's been asked to do, and it's having a huge problem for Vancouver.
Well, let's take a look at some of the other tangibles from the first half. Here's a look at our first half stats, and Aaron, kind of a one-sided tale.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. Obviously 2-0 on the goals for Sounders. 8 shots, a lot of those on target, and Spencer Ritchie's come up big. Fouls are both apiece, 9 and 9. There's the big possession number. It's not as, 52% for Whitecaps FC 2, but most of that is passing in their half, where Sounders 2 are happy to just sit back and relax. So Sounders 2 really in control, and again, it's a case of the numbers kind of throwing you off a little bit, but as you can see, 2-0 is the scoreline, and 8 shots, that's a big one right there. Whitecaps FC 2 need to change this if they're going to have any effect in the second half.
Well, last time out, Ezra Hendrickson made a couple changes during the break, really quickly in the second half, and it kind of robbed him of an opportunity to send in impact subs later in the game. He has a whole host of impact subs available on the bench, guys like Shannon Hopiau, Lorenzo Ramos, Charles Rankin, to name just a few. What do you think you see out of Ezra Hendrickson to try to come in and close this game out from a substitution standpoint?
Well, as we've mentioned before, it's always difficult to tell whether Ezra Hendrickson's supposed to give these guys, the first-team guys like Delem, Henry Wingo, are they just going to get 45 minutes? Do they have to come off? Is that something he's been told prior, or is he just going to make these changes? So it's always difficult to tell, but when I take a look at the bench, I think David Olson, somebody who I haven't seen in a little while, give him an opportunity. Charles Rankin, another guy with a little bit of dribble ability, has got a lot of skill, can take players one-on-one. Those are the kind of guys that you're going to need later on in the playoffs, because those are S2 players. Give those guys a couple of minutes. If this is a game that opens up and everybody gets a goal, that's absolutely something you want to boost the confidence there.
For Vancouver Whitecaps, too, looking at players who might come off the bench, who do you think would come on and maybe change this game around for the Canadian club?
I think a big one for me is the 4-goal man, Thomas Sanner, 6'4", has a presence up there. If you're going to, if anything at all, can you just lob balls in there and have him maybe flick something on? I know that's not the style of these teams, but if you're going to go for a result or something in the last 15 minutes, I think Thomas Sanner's a big one. And, of course, we talked about him, Brett Levi's. He's a man that could come in, maybe release Marco Bustos, allow him to get forward a bit more, and give Whitecaps FC2 some support up there in the attack.
Taking a look at just closing the game out, if you're Ezra Hendrickson, in a couple words or less, what do you just say to your team to make sure you don't have a let-up like you did against Rio Grande Valley?
Don't relax. Just keep going. I know that Vancouver Whitecaps FC2 haven't offered you a lot. You cannot take your foot off the pedal. Just keep going. You want to try and close this game out. Do not let them play back into the game.
All right, there you have it. It is 2-0 in favor of Sounders 2 over Vancouver Whitecaps 2. Your second half coming up after this.
So Kelvin is here, recent signing, played in Dutch Air Division.
When we here in MLS, we think of a player coming from Europe, Germany, England, Italy, Holland. They come at the end of their career to finish here, to retire. You're young, you're in your prime. Why now?
I have to say to you, it was a difficult choice. It was a really difficult choice because I had so many options to go. But in the end, I thought should I choose for the money in Europe? Or do I want to test myself in a new environment where I'm on my own, And I've learned from my father, you can choose for the money, and be safe and make sure you're secured. And I can say, I had good contracts. I played for big teams in Holland, so yeah, I can look for myself in many, many years. So I thought, this is a big opportunity to go to a country I always want to be in. I like the NBA, I like the NFL. I can be a little bit closer to that, Maybe I can help the young guys. And I have to say, God gave me a very good feeling, He kept calling. And in the end, I thought, let's just try it and see what it brings and try to learn new people, have a good experience. And I think that was the main reason. The good feeling the people gave me and to develop myself and, to brighten up my mind and things like that.
Kelvin's feet are very good.
Gives us
more depth, more competition. He can play multiple positions. Good technically, he's good going forward. We're just happy to have him.
As a player, what do you hope to add to this Sounders team?
First of all, you know, defensive stability. I'm a defender, and that is my main goal is to defend first, and I don't get a goal against. And I've learned the extra things will come. You know, work hard first. You know, do your job. Make sure your teammates work hard, and then the extra class, like Nico is a good pass. You know, Dempsey can score. Then that will. Those extra class will come out, you know. But it all starts with hard work, and for me, I need to work hard as a defender first.
The Sounders are known for crazy fan base, very passionate, very loud, but also those fans love to know a bit about their players. Off the field, when you're not training, a day off, what are some of your interests, off the field things? What are your hobbies and interests?
Of course, my biggest hobby now, because I'm a father, you know, when I come at home and my son starts talking, you know, when I come home and I open the door and you see somebody, your son is running into you and saying, "Hey, Papa," or "Papa." He doesn't speak well, but these words, these, you know, these 4 letters, you know, it's great to hear when you come home and somebody's happy to see you. Of course, I'm happy with my girlfriend, my little sister, my mother. But I also like fishing. I like to eat good food, like everybody. And I'm interested to be a coach later, so I'm also busy with that. From all the coaches, I've wrote something in a little book to keep it in mind, you know, for maybe if I want to do it later. But it's a hobby of me to watch football and try to learn.
Couple of influential Sounders members of the front office staff there. Garth Lagerway on the left, sporting director Chris Henderson, owner Adrian Hanauer, Kurt Schmidt, director of scouting and also the S2 general manager, and then of course Jimmy Traore, one of the assistant coaches and Champions League winner, Jimmy Traore.
Jimmy Traore. Every time we talk about him, you can't not talk about the 2005 Champions League final, Liverpool AC Milan. I mean, he's in that game, one of the best comebacks of all time. If you haven't seen it and you're a soccer fan, you have to watch it.
Those
AC Milan up 3-0, remember that?
Oh, yeah.
That was incredible.
But, you know, also important, you know, for the players, too, to be able to play in front of the most important eyes in the organization, not get happy feet. Sounders, too, haven't done that yet.
Well, Sounders, too, have their own lead to protect here tonight.
And we'll take the second half kickoff. Moving from right to left on your screen here. They have a 2-0 lead. Andrew Harvey alongside Aaron Heinzen for you here in the second half. We're seconds away from kicking things off. Just to recap, only one man in the book so far in this one. That is Irvin Parra, who was booked back in the 22nd minute. Don't appear to have been any subs at the break, but if that changes, we will update you as we become aware. This is Felix Chankum over the ball. Chippewa Street blows his whistle, and we are underway. 45 more minutes plus stoppage time. S2 on top, 2-0.
You can already see the pressure Vancouver putting S2 right away. They have all that energy. S2 have to be able to sustain this pressure. Keep their focus for the entire second half.
Ball headed down by Mike Baldissimo. Brian Nanasinkum out-muscles Thomas Gardner. Chops it back to Henry Wingo. Wingo's touch gets him past David Norman, who loses his footing. Wingo goes into Baldissimo. Sounders lay it back quickly. Mathers thought about a quick through ball there. It's turned over. What can Vancouver Whitecaps 2 do with their first attack?
Well, Gardner had that opportunity to put Bevan through.
Ball wide into the channel for Felix Chankum. Parra in the middle. Chankum going to go for a goal, and he'll miss well wide. It's out for a goal kick.
Well, Parra's a little frustrated with Chankum. He made the run, but Chankum shooting from a really difficult angle, but you want that from your striker. Might not have been the best decision there, but you want that guy shooting. Again, just 4 goals, picked up that injury, only 9 games played so far this season. It's a pretty good record.
The games he has played, though, they've certainly drawn interest, not just from the 4 men that were sitting on the far benches when we opened our second half As Miller grabs that ball out of the air. Another successful product in for S2 from Rainbow FC in Cameroon. Right now the most successful, obviously, Nuhu Tolo up with the first team. That's Mike Baldissimo. Sounders defenders all around him. He still works the ball free. That's Declan Wynn. Meyer Bevan, Baldissimo. Tried to go inside, only found Tony Alfaro. Well-timed challenge from Seiler, wins it back. Shankham. Forcing Baldissimo to turn. A free kick for Whitecaps 2 on the delay. Felix Shankham grabbed a little bit of Matt Baldissimo.
Again, nice to see the second half start with a lot of pace. Players getting in on tackles. I mean, really important this second half, especially for Michael Baldissimo, really get himself more involved in the game. When he does get the ball, try and look to play forward first. It's easy to play the sideways, the backward passes, and S2 have done a nice job defending him, but part of a test of becoming a better midfielder as you get older, look to try and play that damaging ball first. Same with Thomas Gardner out there on the right.
Ball thrown up front for Shankham. Shankham pulled down, quickly taken free kick, switched to the near side for Brian Nanasinkham. Gardner defending. Nanasinkham inside for Wingo. Narbonne. Sorry, lets that one run by him. Zach Mathers trying to fight his way to this ball. It's in the area. Mathers goes down. He's not going to get that call. And it's cleared away.
Clever relief from Felix Shankham. It's another nudge from Bustos there on Ray Sorry. Maybe a little bit of frustration from him. Saw that one in the first half where he got Narbonne, or excuse me, Shankham.
Chippewa Street so far has been keeping a pretty wary eye on things. Alfaro wants the switch over to the far side. Instead, they'll go up towards Felix Shankham. Henry Wingo going to give chase to this. Declan Wynn goes up the side. Taryn Campbell. Spencer Ritchie dealt that ball away. Might have had time to take a touch there, but you think he might still be remembering the last time he held on the ball too long.
Well, maybe just a little miscommunication, too, between he and Declan Wynn. Wanted to just get it out and hurry.
DeLem throws the ball in toward Felix Shankham. Outside for Irvin Parra. Parra spins it across. That's straight to the chest of Spencer Ritchie. 50 minutes gone here from Starfire Stadium. S2 on top, 2-0. Vancouver Whitecaps 2 still trying to find that winning combination to get them a shot on goal. Gardner, ball left in space, picked away by Henry Wingo. Wingo into space, fakes a shot, dishes outside for Irvin Parra. Parra, cross back in, Shankham shoots and he scores! Felix Shankham extending the lead, and another Whitecaps giveaway has widened the gap. Shankham saw that one all the way, and now S2 has plenty to celebrate. They lead 3-0.
Well, again, this all starts. Good S2 pressure. Thomas Gardner trying to find Michael Baldissimo there in the midfield. Gets stripped away by Henry Wingo. He just plays this one in to Parra. We saw this last weekend. Shankham, there he is on that 6-yard line. Great timing from the Cameroonian. Darts in front of his defender. Smashes into the back of the goal, his 5th of the season. He has certainly been a success story so far this year. 5 goals now in 9 games.
Better than that, 2 goals in his last 2.
Absolutely.
Never the wrong time of the season to be hitting your stride, but as you cross into the final 10 games of the season, definitely a very right time to be hitting your stride.
And what's nice about Felix Shankham too is he offers you a lot of work rate up top defensively, and he makes it look so easy. Just floats in front of his defenders. Great finish. Sounders, too, of course, very, very excited about him. But hopefully he can stay healthy for the rest of the season. Keep their playoff hopes alive.
We can hear the incident involving Irvin Parra from a second ago, and it's Bustos. The two of them collide. Looked to be a pretty fair challenge from Bustos, but Parra just took a little bit on the tough edge. Sounders to restart play. Meyer Bevan was thinking of pulling a Zach Mathers. That is Mathers, who's dispossessed by Seiler. Mike Baldissimo can't get it past Ray Sari. Sari spins ahead for Parra. Chop to the left side for Henry Wingo. Wingo closed down by Matt Baldissimo. Looking for space, finds Chankum. Teed up for Wingo, and he hits that straight into the waiting thigh of Cole Seiler.
Great stop from Seiler. He stands strong because, again, that was on target from Henry Wingo. Whitecaps FC 2 are in a little bit of danger here of having this become a goal fest.
Chankum ties up with Gardner. He's adjudged guilty of the foul. And for Vancouver, they're down by 3 goals in the 53rd minute now. Just ticked over to the 54th. What can Vancouver do to try to fight their way back into this game, Aaron?
Well, at the moment, just get yourself a little more possession. We've seen a couple of those loss of possession in the midfield. S2 take advantage or at least get an opportunity out of it. And again, can you hold the ball further up the field? S2 have just not allowed Whitecaps FC2 any opportunities in their own half.
This is Bustos, a man on the overlap. Quickly closed down, 2 defenders there. Ray Sari fights his way to the ball and does enough to win a throw-in on the far side.
Bustos just sits a little too long on the ball there, but he's just kind of waiting, looking for an opportunity to play it. It's not like that pass was on down the left-hand side, so can't completely fault him, really.
Brendan Arbonne. Jordy DeLem has to give chase to this into his own end. Sam Rogers. Awkward clearance from him. Tony Alfaro gets a header to it. Headed back in by David Norwin. S2 resets. Bevan coming to apply pressure to Miller. Long ball downfield. Chankum backing up Francis DeVries. Zach Mathers. And Mathers will be tied up and brought down here. Another free kick. We saw 9 fouls apiece in the first half. There haven't been too many that seemed yellow card worthy. But you have to wonder if eventually someone's going to go into the book on accumulation.
Yeah, David Norman just a little bit reckless from behind there on Mathers. Whitecaps FC2 just not winning the midfield battles at the moment. It's causing them to run a lot. Frustration starting to seep in. They're down 3-0. It's still early on in the second half, too. Just need a little more quality possession for them in order to play themselves back in this game. Quality possession, I mean, of course, in S2's half, chance to get on the ball, chance to get yourself moving.
We're going to see Irvin Parra come off the field now. Shea Adekoya enters in the 56th minute.
It's a big chance here for Shea Adekoya. Has 7 appearances for S2 so far this season. Just 1 goal. It's a guy that could use one. This is absolutely a fantastic opportunity to do just that right in front of the Sounders organization.
Scored that goal in a win against T2 at home, seconds after being subbed on. Into the very goal that S2 is attacking right now. I'm sure he's thinking about that. Turned over on a long pass to DeVries. Inside for Norman. Norman can't get it over the head of Sam Rogers. Bevan settles up underneath it. It's Alfaro who wins it, and Ray Sari who brings it down. Zach Mathers. Further left for Henry Wingo. Wingo going at Baldissimo. Mathers on the overlap. Wingo in for Chankum. Wingo shakes off a shoulder challenge, but Norman gets more of it. Taron Campbell. Some nifty footwork from him. And Felix Chankum dives in there. That will be a free kick.
That's nice work by Norman for breaking that up. And that attack moments ago, Henry Wingo. So we take a look at this. Shankham just kind of clatters into Taron Campbell. Easy call there for Chippewa Street.
Just Vancouver Whitecaps don't do anything with the opportunity. It's a attempted long switch to the far side that sails about 30 yards too far downfield.
Yeah, it's so difficult when you give the ball away that easily to get any momentum going. I was mentioning earlier that Mathers wanted that ball back from Henry Wingo. He decides to dribble inside anyways. So they had a 2v1 option. Sure, Mathers will be looking to get on the score sheet again.
Bustos turns, has a little bit of space, goes out wide left. Drop back in for David Norman. Zach Mathers comes in, pokes it away from Norman. Campbell holds on to it for Vancouver, but that has been the story of the day for the Whitecaps. Every time they get into the edge of the attacking third, someone is there, and it always halts the attack. Now the flag up for Declan Wynn on the far sideline.
And that will be disappointing for Wynn too, because he's can look down the entire line. You should never be offsides in that situation, as any coach will tell you. But just a moment ago, he had a chance to take on Sam Rogers one-on-one, and Rogers does well, delays him long enough, and Jordy DeLem comes back and helps out.
We're going to see now Guy Etowah check in for Felix Chankum, the goal scorer from moments ago. So 2 subs gone for S2. Now we'll get another look at Guy Etowah, who's done plenty of good for Sounders too since he arrived earlier this season, also from Rainbow FC.
Yeah, Guy, as you mentioned, just getting adjusted. We know he's got a lot of speed. Haven't seen too much.
This is Norman on his left foot. That shot takes a deflection, comes back out to Mike Baldissimo. Rolled to the left side for Taron Campbell. Campbell, low cross, straight into Jordy DeLem. DeLem pokes it free. Jordy DeLem getting on his horse a little bit here. That ball too far outside for Shea Adekoya. He can't control it. Pardon the interruption there for the break in the action, Aaron.
No, not at all. Good hit there from Norman. Just that clattered off Bustos.
This is Norman once more. Narbonne is defending. Finds Gardner. Gardner swings in across. Headed away by DeLem at the back post. Shot from Declan Wynn. Another deflection. Bustos trying to bring this ball down. Ray Sari wins it away. He chips it to the left side. Henry Wingo is going to collect.
You can see Vancouver Whitecaps FC2 just pushing forward now. They want to try and get something. Good for them. That's really going to open things up here now for S2.
Francisco
Narbonne.
Looks like he has to tie his shoe, or maybe something's tightening up. They put the ball into touch on the far side, and that'll be a substitution. A couple of them, it looks like. 2 for Vancouver Whitecaps. Taron Campbell looks like he's taking a seat.
Now it looks like that's Brett Levi's is on. On for Taron Campbell.
And we're also going to see Lorenzo Ramos come on for Francisco Narbonne here. Also on is Chris Serbin for Vancouver Whitecaps too.
Serbin's just going to come on that right back spot for Matthew Baldissimo, and obviously Narbonne looked like he couldn't continue, so that's 3 there for S2. Lorenzo Ramos is just going to sit in that spot right next to Ray Sari.
Ramos has done a little bit of everything for S2 this year. Played some outside back, attacking mid, holding mid.
Well, when he was in the academy last year, he came in and played this position quite a bit, scored a great goal against Whitecaps FC2 here from that very spot, that very position. See if he can't get another one tonight.
The subs distract us from the clock for a moment, but we've eclipsed the hour mark here at Starfire. S2 on top 3-0 over visiting Vancouver Whitecaps 2. Goals from Irvin Parra, Zach Mathers, and Felix Chankum. Parra and Chankum have both found their way to the bench since then. Now it is Ray Sari over the top looking for Nana Sinkum. Chris Serbin. Back to Sari. Sari looking for Guy Etowah.
Well, this is what we were talking about in the pregame. There's Brett Levi's first few touches for him. What kind of energy can he bring, leadership to this team that desperately needs it at the moment?
Mike Baldisimo kicks the ball away after the whistle. Lucky to escape a booking there for delaying the restart of play. Of course, when you're down by 3 goals, the referee is inclined to give you a little bit of leeway.
Yeah, if it's going the other way, you'd probably be more likely to get one.
Tony Alfaro here. Wants a long ball over the top. Shea Adekoya tracks it in. Adekoya absorbs a shoulder charge, goes down. And play being allowed to continue. Correct on the no call, you think, Aaron?
That's a tough call. We take a look at it again here in a minute, but on first thought, looked like to me that Francis DeVries wasn't really looking at the ball. He had his eye on Adekoya.
This is Etowah down the right side. His cross pings off a couple of players and then comes out toward Ray Sari. Alfaro on the ground up toward Adekoya. Nanasinkum. Adekoya inside for Henry Wingo. Further inside for Ramos. Ramos looking to switch now toward Jordy Delem. Mathers trying to spring Delem. Delem, space for a cross. Serves one to the back post. Flick on header from Cole Seiler as far as Brian Nanasinkum. Nanasinkum spins one back toward the opposite post. Delem was offside. Now he can play this ball. Mathers. Low ball in. Etowah attempting the bicycle kick there. It fans the backside for Brian Nanasinkum. And that ball takes a touch. It'll be an S2 throw.
It's great work from S2. A lot of stuff to cover there, but here's this ball over the top for Adekoya. There's DeVries. Doesn't really see Adekoya. But again, it wasn't intentional either. Adekoya just goes down. It's one of those it could have been. DeVries never touches the ball. But I know referees are supposed to call it as they see it, but it's definitely always more difficult to get a penalty call at 3-0.
Well, this ball's gone out the end line. Zach Mathers will take the corner kick from the near sideline. Whitecaps 2 trying to get organized in their penalty area. High ball toward the middle of the goal. That one found the head of Shea Adekoya. He couldn't direct it towards net as he was underneath it. Nanasinkum controls on the far side. Makes a move inside. Low cross to Guy Etowah. That one threw a couple of feet in traffic. Sam Rogers taps it back to Zach Mathers. Mathers back for Rogers. Rogers serves in a cross and only finds DeVries. As far as Etowah, Etowah takes a touch. Chops one in the middle, can't find Adekoya. Gardner pokes it away. Now it's Brett Levi's up the left side.
Those two are just lining up there. Excuse me, Andrew, for a moment. Just couldn't get the right shot away, but thought for sure that was going to be goal number 4.
Whitecaps 2 trying to get everything sorted. It's another turnover. You can see here, Whitecaps 2 retreating quickly. S2 not pressing as quickly. 3 goals. Turnovers are nice, but you don't really need to press the advantage.
Yeah, it's good little possession there for a moment for Whitecaps FC 2, but just too long. Too many passes in that one area. Give one away, and it's a dangerous spot to do that. S2 now have it in their own Whitecaps FC 2's half.
This is Bustos. Into space a little bit, Marco Bustos. Bustos trying the big switch. Well-timed run back from Jordy Delem gets the ball back to Tyler Miller. Ramos. Very sorry. Alfaro surveying. That ball came off the hand of Jordy Delem. It'll be a free kick for Vancouver Whitecaps.
Yeah, unfortunate touch there for Jordy. A little bit of relief there for Whitecaps FC 2. Chance for them to get some possession here in S2's half.
This is Declan Wynn. Wynn, cross on the ground, finds Sam Rogers, and Rogers clears it away. Adekoya can't get the ball away from Mike Baldissimo. Well, Aaron, we talked about there's more of a veteran presence in this S2 lineup today. How is that going to change the final 23-odd minutes of this game in terms of just trying to see a lead out to the final whistle?
Well, so far they're doing it. They haven't turned off. They're closing things down, not giving Vancouver any time at all on the ball. It's a comfortable 3-0 lead at the moment for S2.
Ottawa taking his space against Wynn. Cross on the ground, finds Shea Adekoya, and it rolls right under his foot as he was trying to convert that.
That's great work here from Ottawa. Just takes the defender on, gets the ball in. A little lucky there, and that's one that Shea Adekoya really needs to put on frame for a guy forward who's looking to get just his second goal this season here for S2. I thought for a minute he was just going to try and blast it.
Not to sink him.
At the moment, Vancouver just not able to hold the ball up top at all. Everything, most of their passes just going backwards. And when they do try and put it into the forwards, possession is lost. It's so tough for a team like that to get any momentum.
Ottawa and his man tangle up. The ball runs out of play for a Vancouver throw-in. Two players help each other back to their feet. DeVries. That's David Norman who's hauled down. Zach Mathers is going to be the man booked for it here in the 69th minute.
That seems a little bit harsh. Mathers just trying to reach in and catch David Norman here, trying to take the ball off of him. Oh, maybe he swung in just a little too hard. Goes in the books. Picks up his third yellow card for Zach Mathers. 9 goals, 2 assists so far this season. Compare that to last year, 3 goals, 4 assists. Pretty incredible. He's had an excellent season, Zach Mathers.
Yeah, players really coming to his own. The men we mentioned earlier, Garth Lagerway, Chris Henderson, Adrian Hanauer, and of course Brian Schmetzer, rewarding him for that. Open Cup looks this year, been included in the 18 more regularly. Regular feature at first team training. David Norman tried to find Levi's over the left side. This is Declan Wynn. Popped up, header won by Ray Sari. Baldissimo for Bustos. Bustos chipping one through, can't find Bevan. Mathers spins away from Seiler nicely. Rolled forward to Shea Adekoya. Too far for Adekoya. Ritchie well off his line.
Yeah, Spencer Ritchie read that all the way. Great tackle though by Mathers. Wins possession, goes forward, almost picks out Adekoya. But again, I feel like I'm repeating myself just a little bit, Andrew. There's just not a lot of communication between the midfield, or not a lot of connectivity between Vancouver's attacking players in the midfield. They just haven't been able to link anything at all this evening.
Well, with 20 minutes left, is there a way to try to reestablish those supply lines, or is it one of those situations where it might be too late to establish that chemistry and you just have to kind of hoof and hope?
Well, you can certainly change formations, take a guy out of the back four and move someone forward, get an extra body up there. They do have one more sub, so we'll see what they end up doing.
As if on cue, it looks like we might be seeing that sub receive his final instructions on the far sideline. Haven't been able to pick out a number just yet, but we'll have that information for you shortly. Meantime, it's Tony Alfaro here in the 72nd. Ahead for Adekoya. Back to Wingo. His pass doesn't reach him. Wingo takes his space as he's done all match. This ball finds Delem. Laid off for Ottawa. Ottawa cut that to his right foot. Ahead for Zach Mathers toward the byline. Mathers slides. He will not get there. And it looks like it's taken a last-second deflection and out for the 5th corner of the game for S2.
Great work from Mathers. Just that extra effort. Just seems, you were mentioned in S2, this is probably the most experienced S2 team we've seen.
Mathers, ball served in, headed away by Levi's. Ahead for Bustos. Bustos gets a step on Lorenzo Ramos. He and Ramos tie up. Ramos fights his way back on the ball and wins the foul. And that's the third or fourth that Bustos has gone in, and you have to admit a lot of them have looked a little bit cynical at this point.
Yeah, Bustos just trying to get away from Ramos, does well to fight through. Bustos just catches it from behind. Is there anything afterwards? But yeah, I agree with you, Andrew. He's been just involved in a couple little things here and there. So you see that last sub from Whitecaps. Maybe Will Seymour in the midfield for Mike Baldissimo.
As we prepare for this S2 free kick and we close the book on Mike Baldissimo's first pro start, lasted 73 minutes. Your overall thoughts on his performance for the youngster?
Oh, he had a couple good moments holding the ball up, but 17, still learning the game, playing at this level against this, as I mentioned, the most experienced S2 team we've seen this year so far, and I think he just could never quite physically get into the game, and that was going to be my other point. The tables have kind of turned where there's a lot of S2 games that we've done this season where S2 just seemed a little physically just out of it. This time around, looks like they're absolutely dominating a younger Vancouver side. Biggest example, of course, in the midfield, winning the physical battles. The forward line not able to run in behind Tony Alfaro and Nana Sinkum. Of course, Sam Rogers, just 18, but he's been playing all season long. He's a veteran himself now.
Rogers became part of what the front office hopes will be a new generation of academy players. Elected to forfeit his college eligibility to sign a contract with S2. He originally intended to play his college ball at Villanova. Ramos draws the foul.
Excuse me, Andrew, big signing there for S2, Sam Rogers, and of course, with the future of hope he'll be a Sounder at some point, but really plays with the maturity of a kid or of a guy much older than 18.
Henry Wingo again. Those quick feet causing so many problems for Vancouver defenders. It doesn't really matter how many they send. He always seems to come away with the ball. Ball skiffs off the head of Zach Mathers. Straight to DeVries. And the flag up for offside on Meyer Bevan there. More frustration for Vancouver Whitecaps too.
Yeah, Norman's just being pressured quickly and Bevan comes back from an offsides position. Those two just won just about every category here on the field today, other than the possession, of course, in the first half. We watch the possession that Vancouver do have. It's a lot of it's backwards, side-to-side sort of stuff.
Attempted clearance from Ritchie, sails out the near sideline. Sounders in control, up 3-0, 15 plus stoppage to go.
Now, from an S2 point of view, I think you've got the points in the bag here, but part of being a professional, keep going, keep pushing, trying to get another goal. Can only build confidence, and this is a team that needs it. With only 4 home games left, they've got some work to do if they want to be in the playoffs this year.
This is Seiler. Bustos draws a free kick there from Lorenzo Ramos. Ramos restarts quickly. Down to Chris Serban. Will Seymour. Brett Levis. Wanted the switch, won't get it. Now he tracks back, gets the ball from DeVries.
Again, Vancouver being forced to go backwards.
Seymour ahead for Bustos. Bustos out wide left for Levi's. Overlapping run from Wynn. Levi's early cross straight to the head of Sam Rogers. Mathers heads it down. Ray Sari knocks it out. And Adekoya will win a free kick.
Well, it's good build-up play this time from Vancouver. Will Seymour connects through Bustos, and they get it out wide. Levi's cross wasn't good enough, but that was a little bit better. David Norman's pushed up from the midfield, trying to make runs in behind, just something to try and pull that S2 back line away from the forwards, not closing everybody down.
Ball on the near sideline for Nanasinkum. Shea Adekoya, Adekoya surveying, shoots, and a sliding interception by Cole Seiler puts the ball into touch on the far side.
Great time tackle from Seiler. Adekoya was going to let fly there.
Dilema heaves this one back to Rogers. Well, S2 will travel for their next match, Aaron, but they won't be traveling very far. Just a quick trip down I-5 to Providence Park in Portland. And they will face Timbers FC too.
And that's a big one too. Timbers, of course, struggling a little bit this year, and only beaten S2 once in the entire 3 seasons they've played each other, and that was down there last summer. S2 can get 2 wins in a row. They've pushed themselves right back in it. The playoff picture.
As it stands right now, the Oklahoma City Energy FC, with 29 points, is occupying the 8th final spot in the Western Conference. Guy Edowa drops his ball inside from Mathers. Ramos. Switch on near side for Nanasinkum. S2 below him in 12th place. As this ball comes through to Nanasinkum. Nanasinkum thought about it, thought better of it. Now dishes back to Ramos. Mathers wanted the ball, instead it's for Sari. Ray Sari from downtown, that takes a deflection and is out for an S2 corner.
Henry Wingo's just worked tirelessly all game. Does a nice job to spring Nanasinkum. Good decision from him. Turns it around, eventually shows up at the feet of Ray Sari. Why not? No one closing him down. Fancies his chance. Gets a corner for S2.
It'll be Mathers to take it from the near side. Plenty of options inside. Tony Alfaro is not among them. He remains at midfield. Mathers. Another short wind up toward the back post. Spencer Ritchie punches that ball away. Ray Sari's going to hold this one in play. Sari makes a move on Gardner. Forgive me, that's Norman he's defending. That ball was sent in on a cross. The assistant referee had to consult with the center Chippewa Street, decided the ball stayed in play the whole way, and was held by Spencer Ritchie. Thrown up to Bevan. Chance of VAR coming from the fans on the near tribune. As another free kick given to Vancouver Whitecaps too. They trialed VAR in a couple games at the USL level. Now it's implemented in MLS. Unfortunately, USL fans will have to wait a little while longer before video review makes it to second division soccer in the U.S.
Well, maybe it's better. A few things still to be worked out in it, I think, from the reports.
I remember, Aaron, we had the pleasure of trialing
yes.
one of those games here. We had an incident where the referee called for the video review, looked at it for about 45 seconds, and then decided there was nothing there, and we resumed play. Which I believe that was actually the first time that VAR was ever used on American soil.
That was an exciting moment of history there.
Ball over the top there. And that one will go out for a goal kick.
Think they'll include your name in the Encyclopedia Britannica?
I'd be stunned if they did. I was not too bullish on that particular incident at the time, but all kidding aside, it really, it is good to see, and hopefully long term that sort of thing will become mundane. Here's Shea Adekoya dishing to Mathers. Mathers looking for space. He's closely defended. Ramos down for Wingo. Wingo makes a move on Serban. Wingo to his right foot. Serban slides. Wingo dishes back to Mathers. Mathers going to shoot. Spencer Ritchie stops that one and holds the rebound.
Nice work again, Henry Wingo. Chris Serban does well to take him inside. Does not want to get beat outside by Henry Wingo. Mathers again unleashing a shot.
Mathers let that ball go. Was worried he was offside. Guy Edowa gives chase. Etowah gets to it. He tangles up with Will Seymour. Guy Etowah refusing to go down. Now he winds up on the turf. He's not going to get that call. Maybe if the scoreline was a little bit closer, a whistle would have gone there.
That was a good fight between the two of them. Just two players battling it out.
Ramos wins this ball. Dishes to Adekoya. No urgency from Sounders 2. Content to move the ball back.
Just a moment now of each player doing their job. Finish this game with a clean sheet. Maybe get one more goal if you can.
Know if it's a choice between the one or the other. Ezra Hendrickson will definitely take the shutout. It's been a long time since Sounders 2 have held anyone scoreless. This ball dishes near side for Serban. Ball over the top, controlled by Alfaro. Of course, there is a historical precedent for holding Vancouver Whitecaps to scoreless. They were the last shutout that Sounders 2 had. That was a 2-0 win on the road back on July the 1st, and that was the last win before that 6-game losing streak that, barring something truly bizarre, appears that it is bound for a close here at Starfire Stadium.
Well, it's bound to happen, especially with the quality they put in the lineup tonight for Ezra Hendrickson. Excuse me.
Wynn moving up the left side, ahead for Levice. Levice wants a cross, finds Bevan, dishes back, Norman back for Bevan. Bevan stood up there by Lorenzo Ramos, and Ray Sari again digs in there, gets the ball away.
Well, Bevan's worked really hard tonight, but it just has not gone his way.
And now he's lashed out and will be punished for it. A straight red card to Meyer Bevan in the 84th minute. And it looked like he clashed with his man. Not entirely sure who that is that's on the ground. It's Zach Mathers who's down. Meyer Bevan has had a frustrating match. Take a look at it here.
Well, he's tracking Ray Sari. You could see Zach Mathers step right in front of him. And he just kicks out at the inside of Mathers' foot. Paulo Street's right behind the play, sees it, and Bevan now has to leave the field. And a tough night for him. He's worked hard up top, just as I was saying, and just ball hasn't gone his way. Now he's out with a red card. To be fair to him, tricky for Mathers. He kind of just steps in front. But you certainly can't kick players, and now Bevan has to finish the game in the showers, and Vancouver down to 10 men.
And the fans serenading Bevan off the field. That means he's going to miss their upcoming match at Rio Grande Valley on the road on August 19th. And that's a big loss for Whitecaps too. They needed Meyer Bevan. He's done so many good things for them throughout the course of the season. Again, part of an offense that hasn't been rewarded with the goals to show for it. Just a moment of frustration on a frustrating night. It's going to cost them long term.
Of course, they have Thomas Sander, who's going to get a rest tonight. We'll have a chance to use him. Glor Amanda, he never got in. Another forward option. He's got 2 goals.
Kadin Chung also spent tonight's match on the bench. S2 fully in control now. Less than 5 to go plus stoppage. 3-goal lead and a man advantage.
Yeah, just see this one out. Again, we talked about it. Don't concede any goals. If you can find one more, good for you. If not, well-earned 3 points tonight for S2.
Alfaro ahead for Nana Sinkum. Nana Sinkum rolls one for Henry Wingo, and if it was the 5th minute, maybe Henry Wingo's legs might have carried him to that ball. In the 87th, it might be a different story entirely.
You could see the frustration on Nana Sinkum's face. He got the pass wrong, just too fast. Henry Wingo still making those runs, though, in the 86th.
Mathers thought about making one more sprint to try to close down Spencer Ritchie. Held up in the end. Serban along the near sideline. Seymour ahead for Bustos. Bustos turns into space, rolls to the left side for Declan Wynn. Wynn, inside for Levi's, defended by Mathers. Levi's looking lively, outside for Wynn. Service into the middle, Tyler Miller grabs it right out of the air.
It's probably some of the best attacking sequence we've seen from Vancouver all night. And again, that's Will Seymour playing those balls into Bustos. He switches play out to the left. S2 does well to deal with the crosses.
Alfaro nearly tucked that one into the garbage can on the far sideline. I believe that's 2,000 points in the skill challenge in FIFA.
Yeah, gave it a little too much.
Held the X button for a fraction of a second too long there. This time Alfaro keeps it on the ground to Henry Wingo. Sorry, chop that up towards Ramos. This ball for Norman. Whitecaps with a chance here. Norman pressing forward. He's going to shoot. And David Norman does not get the contact he wants on that ball, Aaron.
I think the first pass to Bustos would have been the right way to go. Just lead him in, but probably the best chance for Vancouver since the first minute. Again, S2 might have been just a little bit too easy for Vancouver to get through there. Let's finish out these last few minutes.
Ray Sorry quickly up the middle. Shea Adekoya has that one come off his backside. Want to be a promising chance in the making. This is Gardner. Chips it outside for Serban. Bustos is in the middle. Serban finds Bustos. Bustos into the area now. To his left foot, he shoots. That takes a deflection straight into a defender. Appeals for a handball, but Chippewa Street is right there. He says no way.
Good work from Bustos. Vancouver just playing into this the last few minutes.
Whitecaps 2 trying to see if they can get something positive from this game. Norman goes down, draws another free kick.
Here's another look at it. Bustos on his favorite left. It was never going at goal at all. It just goes right into Ray Sorry. You're never going to get that call. His hand's next to his body. It's not outside, away from his body, deflecting or blocking anything. Bustos just got kind of turned. Easy call there.
After 2 disappointing services from Norman, it'll be Bustos over this free kick. 90th minute. Ball swung in. That finds the ground inside the 18, but S2 content to let it run out of play for a goal kick.
Well, remember now, Vancouver are down to 10 men. And S2, with a 3-0 lead, just have to finish this out, keep the ball, don't give away anything cheap. No real reason for everybody to be poured forward at this point. It's great to keep playing the way you're playing, but there's no threat, of course, of losing the game at this point. But you certainly want to try and keep a clean sheet.
Wingo, see if he can tire out the legs of the Vancouver defenders a little bit more. Into the only minute of added time we're expecting here. Starfire Stadium, S2 on top, 3-0. And if this scoreline holds, or even if it doesn't, we can expect. And there's another free kick given to Vancouver Whitecaps 2. Touch surprising.
Not exactly sure what Sam Rogers is called there for.
It's quickly restarted. This is Levi's. Levi's chipped into the middle. Bustos collides with his man, goes down. That one he won't get. The ball rolls out of play for a goal kick. So a win tonight, 3 good points. Down the road to Portland Timbers, a team that has struggled mightily this season, both at home and on the road. If they get 3 points there, when they come home to face the Tulsa Roughnecks on August 30 at the end of the month, we're talking playoff contention, Aaron.
Yeah, good news about the S2 schedules. They still play teams that are just right above them fighting for the same spots. Oklahoma City and Tulsa, as you mentioned as well. Colorado Springs, a little further up the table. Not too far.
Final whistle goes there. And S2 came out early, exerted their will, got a couple of good goals and a couple of goals that came at the behest of Vancouver Whitecaps miscues. And they win by a final score of 3-0. Aaron, your final thoughts on this one?
Yeah, it was the case. You said it, Andrew. Vancouver Whitecaps FC 2 could never quite get into this game. They had a couple chances here and there, but Tyler Miller was never really pressured at all. S2, good performance for them, back in the win column. Now they take this down to Portland and see if they can get another consecutive win.
S2 on the road next week, but they'll be back on August 30th for a game against Tulsa, and we will have that game for you here. For all of us here, including Aaron Heinzen and our great cast at Bootleggers Productions, I'm Andrew Harvey saying so long and thank you for joining us. Your final score from Starfire Stadium, Seattle Sounders FC 2-3, Vancouver Whitecaps FC 2-0.